Have you guys ever had the question as to why some people work hard and turn out rich in life, while others barely survive, struggling from bill to bill? And why was it that nobody ever had any classes to learn about money? And the answers just might surprise you. Who remembers the boxing legend Mike Tyson? This guy was rolling in money in his career. It's estimated that he earned over $300 million. But in 2003, he filed for bankruptcy with a debt of $30 million. And the answer is simple. Money is not like water which you can control. He's a good employee, but a terrible boss. And that's exactly what we're going to learn today. Time to take a look at your financial life. How's your relationship with money going? Now, when you have all that hard-earned money, how long does it really stay in your account? The truth is, we learn how to earn and do spinning acts on spending. But the recipe to success should be different: earn, invest, save, and only then spend wisely. Frequently, under pressure, we tend to collapse into the clutches of easy money and get rich-quick artists, those ridiculous schemes on the internet. But be cautious, because those promises are phonier than a $3 bill and will sail you right into a hole. Friends, we need to change the way we think about money. The problem lies not only in the lack of financial education, but also in the way our brains work. The ideas about money and beliefs may be self-imposed hitches to the progress one might make toward much-desired financial independence. The salary of a soccer player is of no use if you will spend like a king. It is the relationship with spending that is really important. We need to break out of this vicious cycle of earning and spending and learn how to handle money in a much healthier way. Have you ever thought why we waste all our years and years in school, learning so many different things, yet when it comes to money, more of us leave school lost than a dog on a moving day? It's more complicated than grandma's recipe, and there are many factors. One of them is that in the past, school worked like a factory that prepared us to be employees and not to be bosses or investors. There is this idea that talking about money is rude, a topic for private discussion only. But the truth is that education in finance for adults is necessary and should be inducted from an early age. Can you imagine that we have known since our childhood about family budgeting, investments, and compounded interest, among others, worth knowing about money? Surely then, we would know how to manage our money much more responsibly, right? And this kind of lack of financial education does not stop at school. No, it filters into society at large and becomes a subject matter for discussion amongst neighbors or social circles and eventually affects everyone. This also happened because most of the parents never got a proper education about finance and passed their bad traits to their children unconsciously. The media also continues to fuel the fire by constantly reminding people to continue spending without limit and to overextend themselves beyond their capacity, borrowing heavily and seeking magical solutions for financial problems. It's much like trying to take a shortcut in a marathon, but in the end the bill comes due. This therefore creates the perfect scenario for people to make disastrous financial decisions when there is a lack of information and misconceptions about money. Debt goes chasing after debt, definitely dragging people helplessly into it, as if in a dance from which nobody can seem to escape. Break this vicious cycle to have a fairer and more prosperous society. Financial education will be the empowerment people desire to handle their own money for a more secure future. We need to unravel these issues related to finance and make them more accessible to everyone. Education builds intelligence in money management, helps us make more rational decisions, and ultimately achieves our dream life. It all starts with opening our eyes on the way to financial freedom. Getting educated in finances opens the gate to a healthier relationship with money and a wealthier future. Now that we have seen why it is important to understand finance, let us talk about how we manage our money on a day-to-day basis. To do this, we first have to think conceptually about how money moves in our lives, like a river. Take a second to think about all of the times money has moved in or out of your bank account. For most people, it comes in through work, via your salary, correct? And where does it go? Bills to pay, groceries, a weekend barbecue, a vacation trip. It's like a relationship, the dynamic of give and take. It's a topic that's rarely discussed due to fear, anxiety, or just sheer laziness. As the saying goes, out of sight, out of mind, but when it comes to finances, ignoring the problem only makes it bigger. It's almost like a snowball rolling down the hill, and the more you ignore it, the bigger it gets. Taking control of money involves facing your fears and looking over bank statements, writing down expenses, and figuring out where your money goes. This is perhaps a bit scary initially, but there is no other way to start changing your financial story. The biggest secret to reaching financial freedom: live on less than you earn. Live on less than you make and save, invest that amount. This sounds so obvious, but many people spend every penny from debt to credit so that they might support a lifestyle that, quite frankly, they can't pay for. I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? Poverty ain't the thing. Being smart with your spending is all it takes to live a healthy financial life. You don't have to be frugal. It's being a good steward, as they say. It's about out-of-the-box thinking, choose what matters and cut down on frills. It's about separating the wheat from the chaff in the case of expenses. By budgeting and controlling your urges to spend, you will be able to save more money for future investment, creating an emergency fund and making your dreams a reality. Who doesn't like getting rid of financial problems and living a dream life? Too many of us are caught up in the rat race, struggling to earn a lot of money only to spend it all and sink into debt. It is a very vicious circle that never ends. Our consumer society keeps telling us that we need to have more and more. But real richness is to have freedom, autonomy, to be your own person, to make your choices. That is what real richness is. Break the circle of rabid consumerism. Think before you buy what you are going to buy. Do you really need it? Money is a potent tool. So let's move a little deeper into our conversation on money. Most of us consider money as something to be used for purchasing, as if it were a coupon. But can that be all there is to it? No way. Money is more than that. It is a way of expressing value. Buying. Aren't you exchanging money for something of similar value? Consider the example of your job. You sell your time, your effort, your talent. That is to say, you engage yourself in the production of value for the company or for your client. In exchange, you have a salary that, in reality, is something no more and no less than the expression in money of the value of your work. Understanding this relationship between money and value is essential to learn how to deal differently with our finances. Certainly, it is not about the money, but the added value and being remunerated for it. And do you understand? This has to do with seeing money in relation to us with a scale. On one side, we put in everything we produce, the value we generate with our work, with our investments, with our businesses. It is our sweat, our transformed energy into something valuable. On the other side of the scale, we have everything that we consume, all that we spend in maintaining our standard of living, from basic needs like rice and beans to those little indulgences that we allow ourselves once in a while. Whatever is left over after we pay all our bills and expenses, if anything is left over after this equation, is your net worth, your reserve for the future, financial security, your true wealth. It's like the little savings we see growing bit by bit. The more money we spend rather than earn, it's like a weight is always on the wrong balance, showing a warning about money relationships. If you can manage to produce more value than you consume, your net worth will grow in a positive cycle of prosperity. It's like planting a seed and watching it bloom, yielding fruits to harvest in the future. Most think that most of life's problems are resolved in making more money. Oh, if only I made $10,000 a month, life would be perfect, is what most people think. But the problem doesn't lie in how much you earn, the problem lies in how you handle the money you make. I know people who make really well, but they always stay in the red because they live beyond the means and can't build a secure future. It's not about money, rather. It's about our relationships with money. If you don't know what to do with your money today, increasing what you earn won't be of any benefit to you. You are going to keep on making the same mistakes till all is spent, leaving you drowning in debt. As it's said, easy come, easy go. Real change comes when you make up your mind to start taking charge of your finances, be it small or large in amount. You get to have an abundance mindset focused on creating value and building a prosperous future, like someone who sows and reaps the fruits of their labor. At the end of the day, our spending habits are one of the hardest things to come face to face with regarding money. We live in a society where unconstrained spending is the order of the day. That makes us really chase after the next best thing as though it were the greatest idea since sliced bread. Advertisements bombard us and seduce us into wanting things that we do not really need. However, we can be very careful not to fall into the trap because we sometimes think the grass is greener on the other side. So you don't end up buying a pig in a poke. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Will it bring me real happiness, or is this just another momentary whim? Consider, though, that happiness comes from a life of purpose, strong relationships, and the pursuit of one's path, not the accumulation of material gain. True financial freedom manifests when we move out of merely being consumers. We need to develop the mindset that looks at ourselves as value creators, not merely in trading time for money as is more common with traditional employment. We add value to the world by expressing our unique gifts, skills, and passions. Opportunities are many to open one's own business, create a product or service, give knowledge on an online course, and produce online content. The avenues are limitless. What is important is to find a way for each person to generate value and leave a positive result in the world. And in putting money last, it becomes a natural outflow of what we do, how we contribute to society. We finally reached the peak of our journey. It's now high time to get our hands dirty and put into practice what we learned. Your starting point in getting the hang of your finances is having a plan, a roadmap, and that is called a budget. The word budget itself could freak so many people out because it conveys hardship and doesn't allow a lot to be enjoyed. But trust me, with a good budget you stand a chance to realize your dreams and may even save more freedom to live your life. A budget can be related to a map guiding one toward the dream world, for instance, like using GPS to get to a family barbecue. It helps one set priorities, make prudent decisions regarding how they spend money, and avoid monetary oblivion, or in other words, staying in the black. And with a budget, you cease to be like a marooned ship cruising around in your finances and take control over your money, steering it toward what really matters to you, making that beach vacation a reality or buying that house you have always wanted. And before jumping into the actual making of a budget, however, we need to know where your money is going currently. Well, they say that to get to know someone, you should start with his home. One can't rule over what one doesn't know, right? Anyway, that might be boring, but it is very important to see the direction of spending, and the avenues of saving. Several tools will be put on your neck to make this possible. You can use a money managing app, a spreadsheet, or just a good old notebook. The important thing is to write down all of your expenses, big and small, from your morning coffee to your rent or car payment. Now that you know where your money is going, we can start organizing your finances. And the 50-30-20 rule is an easy one. It's something like a pie, but not a pie that you eat. And we split it 3 ways. This rule splits your paycheck into 3 parts after paying all those boring bills: 50% on what you need, 30% on what you want, and 20% to reach your dreams. Needs 50% are the things that must be taken care of: paying rent, purchasing groceries, putting gas in the car, going to the doctor, and of course investing in education. Once 30% are those nice-to-haves, dinner with friends, that dream trip, some shopping, going to the movies, or a concert. Financial goals mean saving to realize your dreams, investments, emergencies, debt payments, and a future life of full value. And so now we have a budget. We will go through every category and see what we can do with you on downsizing it and freeing up more funds. Remember, everything counts. Let's start with your needs. Can you haggle a better deal on your rent or mortgage? Maybe you save on electricity, water, or gas. That cell phone bill, are you really using everything that plan is selling? Now we get to the wants. Are all the streaming subscriptions really necessary? How about dinner out or a show on the town? And of course, those impulse buys, can you stop yourself? The idea is not to live like a hermit, am I correct? It is to make intelligent decisions on the use of money. To prioritize what makes you happy and cut back mercilessly on the rest. Now that your budget is in place and your spending is within control, it's time to start building your real safety net for your money, your emergency fund. In this instance, an emergency fund can be likened to insurance purchased for those inconceivable events that suddenly happen, such as losing your job, falling ill, or any other such event that could throw your funds into turmoil. An emergency fund realistically should be enough to cater to 3 to 6 months of living expenses for basic needs. And with that fund, you'd be much simpler going at any problem you're facing without the need for debts or giving up plans in the long term. It is sort of a monetary cushion that affords you security during the most challenging times. Now, let's enter the mind of a shopper. Why do we buy what we buy? Where does the urge to shop come from? It goes beyond the basics, the things we really need. It's a mix of factors, psychology, social influence, and emotions all rolled into one. Oh, the clever advertising. It preys on what we would like and what we get all insecure about. You know what I mean, right? When we buy something new, that famous feel-good hormone, dopamine, is released to make us happy. So think about this. Think about this spending, right? To be a conscious buyer. Imagine that hamster running on his wheel. He runs and runs and runs and runs, yet he gets nowhere. That's the notion of a hedonic treadmill. Have you heard about it? We get more, yes, but the happiness is fleeting, isn't it true? And we get used to it way too fast. In a little while, we are already after more and more and more. At one point, there's a need for more and more consumption just to give the same feeling of satisfaction. I mean, it's like we could never be satisfied. And this constant search, this endless desire, could end up trapping us in an infinite loop. In the picture-perfect world of social media, unveiling almost everything, pictures show the perfect lives and all the expenditure. It is only natural to compare ourselves and then fall into the trap of thinking that we are falling behind. This social comparison can pretty much be poisonous to the wallet. In the quest to have the same lifestyle as others, one acquires debts and lives beyond their means. Social media, my friend, just gives you the tip of the iceberg. True happiness is living an authentic life according to what truly matters to you. Now we have considered the psychological mechanisms underlying consumption. How do we break free from this trap and forge a healthier relationship with money and buying things? The answer lies in finding sources of happiness and fulfillment that lie beyond having material possessions, that house of your own, that new car. By first questioning what is important to you, your values and priorities, you can go on to what really makes you happy. Shopping for the newest and the blingiest cell phone, or making memories with the people who mean the most in your life? Is it spending time with loved ones, connecting with nature, or pursuing a hobby you enjoy, contributing towards society as a whole? Happiness is indeed not found in shopping centers, but is rather rooted in experiences, true relationships, and activities that give life meaning and provide lasting satisfaction. It is truly a facet of wealth to be had without the things one possesses, but rather in how one chooses to live. It's not in the bank amount you have that money, but a life well led with experiences, love, and peace inside. Living with intentions, mindfulness, and appreciation of all the really important things in life. The small gifts, those moments, the people who make you happy. Hopefully you found some good tips to change your relationship with money. We have just seen how not being financially educated can reel us into a dead-end debt scenario. For instance, owing money on everything we own really does suck. But we've also found out that knowledge is the key to getting out of this and creating for ourselves a much better and more prosperous, abundant future. Something like winning the lottery, but for which you don't need luck. So all through, we have been unraveling the mysteries of money in some way similar to how a detective solves a case. We have seen ways of controlling our spending, no more buying every little thing that catches our fancy or eye, and again, how to plan our budget. We learned how to invest smartly, think like a chess player, think one's each of the moves, think about one with really big mind, like a very successful business person. So remember, money, a strong device that can make your dream finally come true and achieve your goal. This is kind of a magic wand, but this one you have to learn to use with care. But for this, it is important that one needs to be lord of their money, and this tool should be used wisely and responsibly. As nobody wants to be like Scrooge McDuck, swimming in money without the ability to spend, huh? Reaching financial freedom is not a sprint, rather, it's a marathon. There shall be pits of challenges and learning moments in the whole of it, yet trust me, it will be worth it. And with each of our steps to financial awareness, we become free, independent, and very powerful to create the life we so desire, just like making owning a home possible, right? Remember that you are not alone in this journey. So go out there and seek knowledge. Watching this video is already a good start. Share experiences with other people, support each other, and celebrate every achievement, no matter how small. Just like in the course of the flamingos by the marina, the path toward financial success is a journey of self-realization through discipline and persistence. It empowers, is fulfilling, prosperous, and abundant for you and your family. Let's move on. I have prepared a small list of resources that helped me a lot and could be very helpful for you. Starting with books: Robert Kiyosaki, George Cleon, T. Harv Eker. Now, speaking about tools, financial control applications like Mint, INAB, Etsy, budgets, spreadsheets, and financial calculators give you a boost in this way. Personal finance blogs and vlogs, online discussion groups, financial courses and workshops, all are relevant, just like the water in a river. Financial education should never stop. Please always be willing to learn something different, to see things in a different light, so you can better your way of handling your financial resources. Finally, not forgetting the message I would like to leave you with: money is not everything in life. Yes, it matters, but it isn't everything. One should not be lured by gluttony for earthly things that have so much befogging influence on life, but stay focused on what matters most to you, on your values, on your loved ones, on your health, and on your happiness, and on making that matter to you and the reason you are alive. Let money be a tool to build that ideal life, one full of experiences, love, purpose, and accomplishments that go beyond material things. Remember, money is not wealth. True wealth is living a productive, engaged, full, and meaningful life that honors your values. Money is only one of the tools useful to that end. You who watched this video until now, comment like this: that's it. Just comment this: that's it. When I see this comment, I'll give it a little heart, because I know you were persistent and stayed until the end of the video. Hey, since money can't buy happiness, pass it over to me, and let's break the cycle. Farewell, and until next time.